So we've got to talk about what recently happened in Hawaii. Well, what happened just hours ago, really. Um, if you guys didn't hear, there was an earthquake, I believe, just outside of a town in Russia. Okay, and so there was a tsunami watch. Obviously, you get an earthquake, some plates sliding, moving. You create some waves, right? So Uncle Trump had actually posted this on X or Truth. Due to a massive earthquake that occurred in the Pacific Ocean, a tsunami warning is in effect for those living in Hawaii. A tsunami watch is in effect for Alaska and the Pacific coast of the United States. Japan is also in the way. Please visit tsunami.gov for the latest information. Stay strong and stay safe. So he posted this late last night, it looks like. So obviously trying to send out a quick warning for those that, may be affected by this situation. But what's also connected to the situation, because I know some of you are probably wondering, like, bro, why are you talking about this? Typically you talk about politics, and things like that. Well, there's another layer to this. And you know who that layer includes? Well, I'll just play this little clip. I couldn't find the original, but this is good enough. You guys will get the message. You remember this?
We were so concerned about what was happening in Maui.
You're so concerned about what's happening in Maui that you somehow managed to hire a private firefighting team to protect your land before the fire started. You're so concerned about what's happening in Maui that instead of taking some of that land and housing even a small portion of those displaced people, you've hired a private security team to keep them off your land. You're so concerned about Maui that you simply haven't had time to denounce any of the shady real estate deals which are robbing people of everything they have, like the ones you were involved in that helped you acquire that land for pennies on the dollar of what it was actually worth. You're so concerned about Maui that instead of taking what would amount to a year's salary for you and 4 or 5 of your billionaire friends, which could be used to rebuild the entire place in a matter of months, you're jumping on social media and asking the American public, most of whom can't afford to pay their rent right now, to do it for you. You're so concerned about Maui that it's more important that you get social media points than that you help.
Facts.
We were so concerned about what was happening.
So I'm sure you guys remember when Oprah Winfrey and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson went on social media after the Maui fires and were talking about how they put this fundraiser together and were asking for all of us to donate, and they received a massive amount of backlash. Massive amount of backlash. Because Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, I don't know if you knew, but he's damn near a billionaire in terms of his net worth. I believe his net worth, the last time I checked, was like 800 million. Yeah, some ridiculous number. And Oprah Winfrey, her net worth is like 3 point something billion. So to be worth that much money, and yes, I know just because you're worth $1 billion, it doesn't mean you have $1 billion cash. As a matter of fact, if you're smart, you don't have anywhere near $1 billion cash. Yes, I understand that, but you got more than I believe it was like 10 million is what the donation had started off with. It was like $10 million or something. Maybe it was 10 million from each of them. So maybe it was like 20 million. It was something that I was like, bro, to y'all, that is like chump change. And yes, $10 million is a lot of cash for me. Not for a billionaire. 10 M's? What? Some billionaires spend that on a car, right? Bugattis and all that kind of stuff. I believe some of the most exclusive vehicles are like nearing those prices, so they received a whole lot of backlash. Well, there's a reason why I'm talking about Oprah. And this is one of the reasons why.
Look at this. I think they're trying to open Oprah's road. Come on, Oprah. Save us. Road to all the way up country, bro. All the way up country. She got it all to herself. And everybody trying to get in. Cops trying to open it. Nope.
So, to give you guys a little bit of context here, that guy is on the island, and the road he is speaking about is a road that Oprah Winfrey owns. Okay? And so that road is this blue road here. Wait, you can't even see my cursor. There we go. It's the blue road right there. And as you can see, that's on the screen. Here's the high ground that the people were trying to get to. But the problem is, if they couldn't go down Oprah's road, they had to take this giant loop all the way around the island to get to where the high ground is, so they, weren't hit by the potential tsunami that was coming. And Oprah would not open her road. Completely closed. Nobody could get through. Not a single soul. Absolutely despicable. Absolutely despicable. I believe like back here is her land. It's like seated back here. Like she owns some of this. I don't think she owns this entire thing, but it's like right in here kind of area is what she owns. And so she has this road right here, which she also owns. But obviously you can see why people would want to take this shortcut through. It's a lot faster to cut through here and a whole lot safer than to go right along the coast where the tsunami could potentially hit. And obviously with a bunch of backed up traffic, it's not like you're going to be getting around this very quickly. It's a lot quicker and safer to just cut straight through here. But for the one who says you cared so much about the people, why wouldn't you open the road? Because look at this traffic. And that siren you hear is the tsunami siren that's going off, which is kind of interesting because if I remember correctly, the Maui fires, there were no warnings that went out for that, but now the warnings work, huh? Quite interesting. Quite interesting. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments about that, but I believe there was no warning that went off during the Maui fires. Let me know. Let me know if I remember correctly.
Here we go. This is the second set of sirens. Siren set number 2. We are 2 hours away from the tsunami landing here in Hawaii. The beach is closed. They told us to stay on floor number 9.
Floor number 9 to make sure you're high enough from the surge that's coming in. And the earthquake that happened, it was a strong one. It's one that's going down in the record books. Let me tell y'all something.
All right, this is a Fox News alert. A massive 8.7 magnitude earthquake off the coast of Russia has now issued tsunami advisories and watches, including Japan, Hawaii, the entire west coast of the U.S. This could be one of the top 10 earthquakes ever recorded. Joining us now from Fox Weather is Steve Bender is with us. Steve, 8.7, that puts it in the top 10. That means these tsunami warnings and advisories are very real.
Sean, this is massive. And you had just mentioned Japan's impacted by this. The U.S. Embassy in Tokyo has already been told evacuate and get to higher ground. And this was just off the coast of Russia, as you had mentioned, only 8 miles from the coast of Kamchatka, Russia. And so we've already seen on social media the waves that are pushing in towards Russia. For Japan, they're expecting 9-foot waves to impact the islands. As we look at the Aleutian Islands there, south of Alaska and the peninsula, tsunami warnings for the western edge of that because of the proximity to the earthquake. We get down into Hawaii. They are also in a tsunami warning. This has been a confirmed wave that is moving in, likely to make impact just after 7:15 local time. The Oahu Emergency Management said, this is what you got to do. You got to get to at least a 10-story building and get to 4 floors or above that. So people are seeking higher ground right now. You look at the west coast of the lower 48. Everyone is under a tsunami watch right now for the Pacific Northwest. Washington and Oregon, arrival time 11:40 p.m. local time for that initial wave. Down towards Northern California, San Francisco, and those areas around the Bay, about 12:30, midnight. That's when you're looking at that potential wave. And then Southern California right after 1 a.m. So when we're looking at this, it is expecting flooding along those coastal areas. You got to gain elevation for spots like California. It is a steep slope, but other areas are vulnerable. Also, I do want to mention, Sean, we have Guam, of course, a massive military base. They are also in this as well with a warning. So major concern, aftershocks just coming in at 6.8 and 6.3. So the magnitudes, even on the aftershocks, are massive. As you had said right off the top, this could be a top 10 strength ever. This is preliminary right now at 8.7, but either way, if you're under an advisory, a watch, or a warning, warning, it is important that you are getting to higher ground because you're not going to see it. This is coming in overnight, and that wave energy is going to slam the coast. So right now, Sean, we're efforting to get some guests. I talked with the state seismologist out of Alaska just earlier this month when they had large earthquakes. He said this is the most active region in the entire world, and now we're seeing this major earthquake unfold. 2 a.m. local time off the coast of Russia, and the ripple effects continue on in the hours ahead.
All right, Steve, let me be very clear. If you're watching the show tonight and you're in Alaska, if you're in California, if you're in Guam, maybe you're watching from Japan, I would tell everybody they better be listening and they better be paying attention. You have mere hours to get to significantly higher ground. Fair statement?
Fair statement, especially when you're mentioning Japan. I mean, when we talk about the strength of this one, the last time we had seen anything at an 8.7 or greater was back in Japan in 2011. So we haven't seen anything like this in over a decade. And as you had mentioned, this is coming in overnight. You're not going to see that wave energy, that water coming in, get to higher ground and lead to the warnings. Listen to them and start moving now.
Yeah, so you heard that. One of the most powerful earthquakes in history. And I want to show you guys this. So it officially came in at an 8.8 on the scale. That ranks number 6. Well, I guess it's tied for 6 because there was one in 2010 and one in 1906. Goodness gracious. That's going way back. Highest one is 9.5. So it was pretty close to the strongest one ever recorded around the entire globe. Wow. Incredible. Incredible. So this was serious. This was very, very serious, which is why, it's kind of weird that, why wouldn't you open your road, Oprah? Now, to clarify things, she eventually did open up the road so people were allowed to travel through. But the fact that it was closed for a while in such an emergency is quite crazy to me, especially coming from someone who, says that they care so much, cared so much about the people and this and that. And it's just like, wait, so you won't even let them drive down the road to get to higher ground? I mean, I get it. Your private property, right? Her rights. Do I think people should own entire roads on islands where there are other folks? No, that's kind of crazy to me. But y'all, am I tweaking? Like, I don't think people should be able to own entire roads, especially on an island like that. It's a little crazy to me. It's a bit crazy to me. But yeah, she eventually did open up the road. So just for clarification purposes, people were able to pass eventually through her road to higher ground. And from the reports that I'm seeing, the tsunami wasn't as bad as what people had expected. I'm not hearing about any tragedies happening. But obviously, as more updates come in, I will update you guys, maybe by making another video, or maybe I'll make a YouTube short on it. But if more credible or significant, news comes out, I will definitely update you guys on this. But so far, good news, right? Good news. People were able to, 1, get to higher ground, but also 2, I'm not hearing about any loss of life due to this entire situation. So that's obviously amazing to hear. Beautiful to hear. So y'all get in the comments. Let me know your thoughts and your opinions on all of this. Actually, I saw this clip. I don't know if I can play this, though. Hold on. Let me see. I might have to blur some of this. But these doctors in Russia, allegedly, were performing surgery on someone as the earthquake hit. And matter of fact, I'm not even going to show this because this is like somebody like splayed out on a table. I'm probably not going to show that. It's a big graphic, and I don't know what's in this bowl right here. Yeah, I'm not going to show that. Okay, but it's an incredible video because you're watching these doctors in the middle of surgery. The whole room is just like vibrating, shaking back and forth, and they're all just like, holding everybody together, making sure the patient doesn't fall off the table, being professionals, and they kind of get right back to work after the shaking is done. Beautiful. Doctors saving a life in the middle of an earthquake. Love to see it. But like I said, y'all get in the comments. Let me know your thoughts and your opinions on all this. Make sure you guys hit that like button. Stay safe out there. Peace and love. I'm out.